96 years. The good Lord has given me 96 years on this earth, and I wake up every single morning remembering every one of them. My name is Loretta May. I have watched 2 world wars come and go. I watched a man walk on the moon on a little black and white television set in my living room. I have seen the telephone go from a thing on the wall with a cord to a little glass rectangle that knows where you are at all times. The world has changed 6 times over, and I have been here for all of it, clear as glass. Now, every doctor who ever told me my memory was going to go told me that's just what happens. That's just aging, child, accept it. Every single one of them is gone, dead and buried. And I am still here doing the crossword every morning without a single hint. I remember every birthday in this family without writing one down. I remember conversations word for word from 40 years ago. So I'm going to tell you the truth, the real truth, the kind of truth that gets passed down in kitchens, not in clinics, the kind that comes from your grandmother, not from some commercial on the television. I've got grandchildren who are in their 40s, and half of them can't remember where they put their keys. Bless their hearts. They're walking around with those little devices in their hands, calendars and alarms and reminders for everything, because somewhere along the way they stopped trusting their own minds. And I look at them and I think, something has gone very wrong. Your brain doesn't rest when you sleep. That's the part they don't tell you. Your brain works all night long. It cleans itself. It files things away. It repairs what wore down during the day. And if you give it the right food before bed, you wake up sharper. You wake up clearer. You wake up with the kind of mind that remembers things, the kind that doesn't fog over, the kind that stays with you. I've been eating 5 foods before bed my whole life, not because some doctor told me to, because my grandmother told me to, and her grandmother told her, and the proof is standing right here talking to you. Now, the first one is the one people look at me sideways about: warm whole milk. A small cup, just about half a cup, heated on the stove until it's just barely steaming. Not boiled, not microwaved. Heated slowly, the way it deserves. They lied to you about dairy at night. Told an entire generation it would sit in your stomach and slow you down. Child, please. What slows you down is eating a plate of processed junk at 10 o'clock and wondering why you can't think straight in the morning. Warm milk is something else entirely. It's got something in it called tryptophan. Now that's a long word, but it does a simple thing. It helps your brain make serotonin, and serotonin turns into melatonin. And melatonin is what tells your brain it's time to go to work. The deep, real repair work. Not just sleep, repair. My grandmother used to say that warm milk at night is how you talk to your body before you let go of the day. She didn't know what tryptophan was, but she knew that the people who drank it slept like the earth and woke up remembering things. And she was right. She was right about most things. I drink mine with nothing in it. No sugar, no honey, no flavoring, just the milk. Let it do what it was made to do. My mind is still working just fine. Thank you very much. And that brings me to number 2, raw walnuts. And I mean raw, not roasted, not salted, not candied, raw. About a small handful, maybe 10 or 12 of them, right before bed. Now, they told us for years that fat before bed was the enemy, that eating anything rich at night was going to make you slow and foggy. That is a lie. Not all fat is the same. Walnuts don't look like much. They look like a little brain sitting in a shell, which I always thought was God's way of telling you something obvious. My daddy used to say, that the Lord doesn't hide his meaning if you know how to look. And the walnut is about as plain a message as you're going to get. They're full of something called DHA. That's the fat your brain is actually built from, the material it's made of. And here's what your brain does at night. It rebuilds itself, clears out the waste, repairs the connections, strengthens the ones it used that day. And it needs fat to do that, the right kind, the kind that comes from the earth, not from a factory. When you eat a handful of raw walnuts before bed, you are handing your brain exactly what it needs to do the work it was going to do anyway. You are giving it materials instead of making it scavenge. I have eaten walnuts before bed since I was a young woman, and my mind has not gone the way so many minds go. Yes, Lord, thank you very much. The third one they definitely lied to you about. Eggs, specifically the yolk, hard-boiled, right before bed. For years they told us the yolk was the problem, that the cholesterol in it was going to ruin your heart. A whole generation of people throwing away the most nutritious part of the most complete food there is. It's shameful when you think about it. All that fear, all that waste. The yolk has choline in it. Now that is the thing your brain uses to build the actual wiring, the connections between one thought and the next, between one memory and the place it's stored. You pull up a name, a face, a feeling from 40 years ago. That's your brain traveling along those wires. And choline is what keeps the wires intact, what keeps them from fraying. A hard-boiled egg before bed is not a bedtime snack. It is maintenance. It is upkeep on the most important thing you own. My mother ate an egg before bed every night. She remembered every one of her 8 children's birthdays, every grandchild, every great-grandchild, right up until the day she passed at 91, sharp as a tack. I used to think that was just who she was. Now I think it was partly what she ate. I eat 1 egg before bed, the whole thing, the yolk and all, and my mind is still sharp at 96. Thank you very much. And that brings me to number 4, something my grandmother made and called it her nighttime tea. And it was just warm water with a thick spoonful of raw honey stirred in. That's all. Real raw honey, not the kind in the plastic bear. The kind from a jar that has bits in it. The kind that came from somewhere real. They told us honey is just sugar. That sugar before bed will spike you and ruin everything. And I say you don't know the difference between what God made and what a factory made. Raw honey is not the same as sugar, not even close. It has enzymes in it. It has something called acetylcholine precursors. That's a fancy way of saying it helps your brain hold on to its wiring overnight. What it does is simple. It gives the brain a small, steady source of fuel for the night, not a spike, a slow, clean burn. Like leaving a lamp on low in a room you're still using. And the brain is still using it all night. Your brain burns fuel while you sleep. It doesn't stop just because your eyes are closed. It needs to be fed to do the repair work. And raw honey is the cleanest, steadiest way to do that. My grandmother never had a foggy morning in her life. She was 93 when she passed, remembering everything. She drank her nighttime honey water every single night and told me to do the same. I have not stopped, and I do not intend to. And the 5th one, this one's a little different. This is my little secret. This is the one I get asked about more than anything when people see how I am at my age. Tart cherries. About a small handful of dried tart cherries or a few tablespoons of tart cherry juice, real tart cherry juice, not that sweet fruit punch they sell you in a bottle, the sour kind, the kind that makes your face do something when you taste it. Now they'll tell you melatonin comes from a pill, that if you want your brain to clean itself overnight, you'd better buy something in a bottle from a shelf. That is not the whole truth. Those sour little cherries have natural melatonin already in them, put there by the earth. And melatonin is not just a sleep signal. That's what the commercials have reduced it to. Melatonin is also a powerful cleaner. It goes into the brain during sleep and fights what I'll call the slow damage, the wear and tear, the buildup from everything you see and hear and feel and worry about over the course of a day. It sweeps it out. We didn't call it tart cherry anything when I was growing up. We called it the jar Grandmama kept on the shelf. She put up her own cherries every summer, the sour ones from the tree in the backyard. And every night before bed, she'd eat a few right out of the jar. She never explained why. She just did it. It's what her mother did. And even the researchers, and I don't put too much stock in researchers because they keep changing their minds, but even they have caught up to what my grandmother's jar already knew. It works. It has always worked. I wake up remembering my dreams. I remember the name of the woman I met at church 2 months ago. That is not nothing. That is everything. That is your life, intact. And mine is still intact at 96. Thank you very much. Now listen, I've told you the 5 foods: warm whole milk, raw walnuts, a hard-boiled egg, raw honey in warm water, and tart cherries. That is the list. It is not expensive. It is not complicated. It does not come from a supplement company or a wellness brand or a doctor with a podcast. It comes from the women before me who lived long and remembered clearly and passed it down like it mattered, because it does matter. But I am going to tell you one more thing, and this part is more important than anything I've said about food. The food is what you give the body, but the body follows the spirit, always has, always will. I have seen people who ate well and still lost themselves. And I believe in every case they had lost something else first. They had lost their purpose, their sense of mourning, their reason to come back to themselves after sleeping. You want to remember things, you have to want to be here. You have to be curious about your own life still. I wake up every morning genuinely wondering what today is going to bring, not dreading it, wondering. That is not an accident. That is a practice. Same as eating your walnuts. You practice coming back to yourself every single morning. You look at the faces of the people you love and you really see them. You sit in a chair in the sun and you let the warmth land on you like it means something, because it does, because you are still here. Your brain remembers what you give it reason to hold on to. Give it beauty, give it meaning, give it the faces of people who matter, give it conversations worth remembering, and feed it while it sleeps. You do those things. You eat your egg and your cherries and you sit in the sun. And you might just find that at 90, at 95, the people around you are looking at you the way they look at me, with that look that says, how are you still so sharp? How do you still remember all of that? And you'll smile, and you'll eat your egg, and that'll be answer enough. Now, if you'll excuse me, it's about time for my